What's good? It is Thursday. The 2026 Masters is currently playing. So I'm gonna wrap this up soon and watch that. Oh, man, that is strong. And probably just do some work on my laptop. And I'm inside today. They're doing some work on the golf course. It looks like they're chopping down some trees, so it's pretty fucking loud. And I kind of got cold too. And I know no one really cares, besides maybe a couple of my friends and my one subscriber. But yeah, man, I got a lot on my plate, a lot on my mind, and I'd like to just chat about it a little bit. Recently going through like a mid-20s crisis. I got a bike, and then I sold that bike and got a new bike. So my first bike was a Vulcan, and I don't know, I feel like I'm a little too young to be having a cruiser, especially a 600 fucking pound cruiser. So I went ahead and got a FZ09 2015, and that's been a lot more fun. It's a lot of bike to handle though. I was originally looking at the MT-07s, or an FZ07 or whatever, but got a pretty good deal on the FZ09. So went ahead and bought that John, and then yeah, I quit my job. I broke up with my girlfriend. Like I said, I'm having like a twin mid-20s crisis, and I don't know why exactly. I think maybe I realized once I started working that it's not all fun and games. And I realized that I've been lied to my whole life. I realized that, my conditioning has told me that you should go to school, you should get a job, you should get a girlfriend and then a wife and then start a family and have a bunch of kids in the suburbs and just blindly obey authority. And yeah, that's literally the American dream. That's the white picket fence American dream. And I know I know a lot of people out there are struggling right now. Rent's a little high, housing prices are high, the job market stuff, I get it. I'm one of the fortunate ones, man. I had no problem getting internships. I never had a problem getting jobs. I never had problems getting girlfriends. I got a good nest egg, man. I got a good amount of savings that I can just quit my job and cruise for a little bit and try to build something, And even if you don't, man, even if you are less fortunate and you realize like, hey, man, I've been lied to my whole life and I want something different. I don't want this shit. You can too. Never think you're stuck, man. There's always change. There's always opportunity. You just have to find it if you want it badly enough. I think I'm under the belief currently, and maybe I'm a little too hopeful and naive and young and inexperienced, but I'm of the belief rather, that you will get everything you actually truly desire in life, And for a lot of people, they're like, yeah, I want $1 billion. I want to be rich. I want this and that. But they don't. A lot of people want comfort. A lot of people are so conditioned, are so brainwashed that they're comfortable in their conditioning. And that is fucking great. Good for them. Like, I got friends and family who's like I told my brother, for example, shout out to AJ, but no, nothing against you, man, but I told him, I was like, I don't have a job. Like, I quit my job. He's like, so are you getting a new job? Like, are you going to do this or do that? Like, man, I'm trying to fucking build something, Like, you wouldn't understand. I didn't even tell any of my parents. Either of my parents. I didn't tell them yet. And there's some people that I just don't want to tell because it's a hassle. I'm not embarrassed to, be unemployed right now. I'm not hiding it from anybody. I'm just avoiding conversations with frankly smaller minded people. People that think that there's only one reality. And by definition, reality is objective. But everyone can shape their own reality, I think. And that's my perhaps naive belief. I'm trying to create and stop consuming. I'm trying to build something. Like I said, I'm trying to make art and publish perhaps writing or content, or just go all in on like a brand. And I haven't found that yet. I'm posting content on Substack. I'm posting videos on YouTube. I'm posting videos on Instagram and TikTok, and I haven't found my voice online. I haven't found my voice here. And I'm struggling to find my voice in the world, and that's why I started posting online. Because I think being in the workforce is a lot like the algorithm. You have to kind of you have to dilute your message to a degree to, bow down to the algorithm. The same way in the workforce, you have to kind of put on a facade, a mask, and speak a certain language to succeed in that particular field. I would find myself saying things like circle back, follow up, I got to touch base with you on this later. And I would never say that in my real life. I would spend 70% of my time with people who I actually didn't really like. I would pretend to be someone I'm not. Same way with the algorithm. This is why, I'm struggling right now with content creation, because I am just starting out. So, we'll see where this goes. But I'm struggling right now because, I'm saying fuck the algorithm. I want to do this my way. And from my first post to my 50th post, you can see me slowly succumbing to the algorithm, slowly adding in viral sounds or whatever. Slowly adding in a hashtag or subtitles or like a hook. And, it's just a matter of how badly I want it, I think. And I think I would rather be successful in this field than I did in the field that I was in when I was working a 9 to 5. I hated it. I hated sitting behind a cubicle. I hated saying shit that was never in my vocabulary. I hated smiling at people. It sounds retarded, but like I hated fucking smiling at people. And it got to the point where I was like drinking a lot and laying on my floor in the mornings and getting up, getting ready, and then taking a nap in my suit for 10, 15 minutes before work, man. It got to the point where I was showing up late and leaving early. To the point where I was in my boss's room, or office rather, like telling me like, hey, you need to stay longer. You need to do shit to increase pipeline. And then when that conversation happened, I quit the next day. I was like, dude, fuck this. So I'm still searching for that opportunity. I'm still searching for my voice and how I can share my opinions with the world in a novel or unique way. I'm still trying to develop my platform, and it's kind of been tough these last 2-3 months. It's been really tough. I mean, I'm a lot more confident now. At first, I really cared what like people thought of me. I cared like, oh man, what if someone I know sees this? But like now it's easier to post. But the problem is no one sees it. I'm probably going to get 5 views on this video, This is just a digital journal at this point. One that perhaps I'll look back on one day and be like, wow, look at me trying to pursue some dreams, some crazy goals. And it was funny because yesterday my girlfriend was here, ex-girlfriend, yeah, we still hang out. And we were watching a show. It was like Love on the Spectrum. We were watching Love on the Spectrum, and one of the characters, Connor, goes to like England or some shit, and he's talking about knights. And I told my girl, I was like, you know, it's a life goal of mine to get knighted one day. And she kind of laughed and was like, oh yeah, whatever. And she said something, I totally forget what she said, but I remember my response. I said, this isn't a dream. This is a goal. So a lot of people confuse that. A lot of people say, I want to get rich. I want to live on a yacht. I want to do this and that. Like, but they don't. Those are just dreams, pipe dreams. You know, they don't really want that. They don't want to be ridiculed and looked at by the masses in like some different way. They don't want to take that leap of faith and start their business or start their content journey or whatever that might be. They want to stay in their job, have a good job, get a home one day, and get married and have a couple kids. Be a soccer coach. Be a Little League coach, you know? Get a minivan. Have like little pleasures. Go on vacation twice a year and talk about it forever. Talk about the buildup. Like, oh yeah, me and my family are going to Mexico in the spring. And then afterwards, like, oh man, Mexico is great. We did this, we did that. But then you're going to go and just booze all the time. And that sounds fun. You know, that does sound fun. But that's not the lifestyle I want to live. If I want to go to Mexico, I want to go. Right? Like right now. Bear down, by the way. And then they just dream about that. But like for me, it's like, no, it's a goal of mine. It's not a dream. And I took that first leap of faith. I quit my job. I started my content journey. I'm starting this new lifestyle, but I'm shackled still by the conditioning that I've had my whole life, you know. Respond to your name, respond to Alex, respond to whatever. Just wait in line, raise your hand to go to the bathroom. Wait your turn. You know, even I remember drinking water, and we had this thing where you would get in line to drink at the water fountain in like elementary school, and there would be a teacher that's standing there, and then you would go up, she'd be like, 1, 2, 3, that's enough for me. Like, it's water. You're regulating my fucking water consumption. And on top of that, the government is poisoning our fucking water. Conspiracy theory, but yeah, bro. There's fucking birth control in the tap water, man. I'm from Michigan. Flint water, man. It's still fucked up. Everybody knows that. It's been fucked up. I don't know, but I'm trying to break 23 years of conditioning that says go to school, get a job, start a family, and obey. I'm trying to break the conditioning that says money is real. And it's so hard because I'm like 3 months into this journey. And I'm trying to build a whole new reality by shattering my current reality. And it's like, that's hard, you know, and I don't have any help. And it's something that I just realized is everyone else has had the same conditioning, you know? And in the Matrix, I think Morpheus tells Neo, he's like, at a certain age, we don't even attempt to break someone out. You know, the older you get, the more conditioned you are to the Matrix. So if someone reaches a certain age, they can't handle, you know, the onset of reality, the real world outside of the Matrix, essentially. Because they're just so used to the Matrix that if you unplug them, they're gonna be like, what the fuck, and probably like, you know. And, you know, to a degree, that's that's pretty reflective of our world. I think the Matrix is what our conditioning, perhaps, unintentionally. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist here. And I have nothing against teachers. My ex-girlfriend's a teacher. I love teachers. I think they should get paid more. And it's just like the confines of what we've been taught is reality is very limiting. And I think we need to break that, but it's only if you're willing. It's only if you're willing to see money as a tool and not as a necessity. If you're willing to see that, getting an office job isn't the only way. And it's tough because everyone else sees it that way. So you are alone. You are alone, bro. And that's one of the hardest parts. But I'm here, and I'm trying. And I'm working really, really, really hard. Harder than I did when I had a fucking job. I don't have to pretend to work. I can do work that I want. Because work doesn't mean having a job. The only difference is I'm not collecting a paycheck every 2 weeks. The only difference is I'm burning into my savings, and I'm scared. I'm scared because the less money I have, the more scared I'll get, and the closer it is I'll be getting to quitting this lifestyle and going back to the Matrix, if you will. But follow me on my journey, and I'll be around. Peace.